Welcome back to another episode of I Rock Business Entrepreneur Series. I am your host, Corey Fonville Foster, and today I'm super excited because I have Janna Willoughby-Lohr here with me. She is the owner of Papercraft Miracle. I'm super excited. She's a poet, a musician, a visual artist, and of course, an entrepreneur. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. We were sitting here chatting before we started, and she is a busy lady. So I'm super excited that she had time to pop on this podcast with me. I told her I'm not going to keep her long. So we are going to move through and get all the tea from her as quickly as we can. So I do want to know, because I was interested. I said, oh, paper crafts. That's something I'm not familiar with. What is Papercraft Miracles?
So Papercraft Miracles is an eco-friendly handmade paper art company. So we make magical things out of paper that make people happy, and we send them all over the place. So we do
cool.
We do all sorts of things, but we do decorative handmade papers and stationery. We do hand-bound books, paper flowers that look so real you have to go touch them. And we also make a lot of seed bombs, which are made with recycled paper that has seeds embedded in it, and you just dip them in water and plant them outside and they grow.
Oh, that's cool. Look, I wish I would have known that. I tried to be that, cool homeschool mom, and I took the kids out with like egg crates with the seeds in them and tried to, we grew nothing. Nothing. So I wish I would have known about that, because that sounds so much easier. Like, get it in the mail, put it in the ground, water it, and we're good. We'll be talking after, because that would have made me look like the cool mom. Like, oh yeah, we grew some plants. We waited for weeks looking at the dirt and nothing ever happened. So yeah, look, write that down for later. But that's cool. It's such an interesting type of job. Like I said, never heard of it before, that type of thing. Like I've had stationery, right? The kind you go to Walmart and it has like cute crinkles on it or something. But that's really cool. How did you get into this business?
I've always been a poet and a writer, and I've always loved playing with paper and writing poems and making journals and things like that ever since I was a kid. And when I went away to college, I went away initially because I wanted to be a poet and a writer. And as soon as I set foot on my college campus, I was like, man, like I need to make stuff. And they had all these really cool book arts classes about bookbinding and paper making and all these things that I was like, man, that sounds like so much fun. I want to go do those. So I took all those classes. And at the end of my freshman year of school, I went to talk to my advisor and I said, hey, these are all the classes I took this year. What major am I working toward? And he's like, those are all elective, so nothing. And I was like, well, crap. Like, what am I supposed to do right now? I'm here on a scholarship. I can't have wasted a whole year of school. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And as soon as I had put my hands into paper pulp and like learned about different book forms and things like that, I was like, that's my jam. So I told him, I was like, I want to make paper. I want to make books. I want to use my creative skills, and I don't want to be broke. How do I do that? And he said, you should do that as your major. So I made up my own major in college where I put entrepreneurial business and creative art integrated together as one major. And I spent 4 years figuring out how to make money with art.
That's amazing. Like, who knew you could do that? It's like, yeah, you get to pick this one or pick this one. You said, how about I make something and hey, and you make money doing it. So that's really great that you learned early on to, what you were interested in. I think so many of us, we have gifts, right? We have talents, but we don't know, like I said, it doesn't have a name yet, or we don't know what the name is or what the major is. And so we go into whatever feels feels okay. And then we spend so many years trying to find ourselves. So it's great that you did that in college, because I know I didn't really find what I truly love to do until just a few years ago. And I wish I would have known earlier what I was into, so I wouldn't have wasted so much time and money. Oh, look, I have a college degree that I'm surely not using, but yeah, all the money on things that I truly wasn't passionate about. So I want to ask you, what is your target audience? Like, who loves buying paper products?
It's kind of funny because I mean, our, the main people who are following us on Instagram, like, the main people there is, you know, women who are between 25 and 45 typically. But I would say that we sell stuff to so many different kinds of people, because there's people who come to us because they want to buy a gift for somebody else. And that's our real niche, is like making really, really special, customized, personalized gifts for people. So I'll meet with somebody and they'll tell me about the person that they want something made for, and I'll come up with the perfect thing so that when the person opens it, not only will they be like, oh my God, this is so special, but they'll immediately know who it's from without seeing who it's from on the card. So, I mean, anybody could want to buy one of those, I guess, in general, but like when I'm marketing my business out there, my ideal client, should we say, since this is kind of about marketing and stuff like that. So my ideal client is women, or LGBTQ people in general tend to really dig our business, who are between 25 and 55, who care about the environment. They make over $100,000 a year. They want to make a difference with the money that they spend, and they like knowing the person who they're spending money with. Those are my clients, like
That's amazing.
that's
You really got it boiled down. I like it. And I always tell people, anybody can buy your product, right? Typically, most of us don't have such specialized items that if someone came past it, they'd be like, oh no, that's not for me. It's more so, like you said, who do you market to? Because I tell people I take everybody's money, but I market to, I spend my coins marketing to certain individuals. And so I love that. And the more I listen, the more I'm like, okay, I think I fit into that group of people, because I would love to find out more. We have to be in a place now that we have to care about our environment. Like, you can't pretend it doesn't exist. We have to care about our environment, and you still want to have those really memorable pieces, like you said, those gifts. So I love that you have the two paired, that when I buy a product from you, I know that I'm not harming the environment, but yet I'm going to have something that someone can love, and it'll have a memory tied to it. And it sounds like you put a lot of thought into everything you make, which is really cool.
Yep. Our motto is handmade with love and a little bit of magic.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So I was reading some information about you and your company, and I read that you had a grant recently, and I don't see that really often in business. Like, they're like unicorns. People talk about them in passing, but to see someone actually receive a grant, can you tell us a little bit about what the grant process was like, and what did you go through to get it, and what was that kind of experience with, for you? What was it like?
Sure. So it was in 2018, and one of our local organizations here does a big pitch competition to bring typically tech startups to this area, because we're in Buffalo, New York. And this organization called 43 North does that every year, and they give away $5 million to bring startups to this area. And one of the judges decided that he's from Buffalo, but he lives in the Bay Area, and he's like been very successful and was working for Facebook. And he's like, I love that we're bringing all these startups to Buffalo, but what about all these small businesses that are already here who would really, really benefit from a much smaller infusion of cash? So, if we took $1 million and divvied it up amongst these small businesses, how much of a difference could that make in this community here? And we'll couple that with a year of curated business mentorship to help them figure out what they need to know and what they don't know in their business, and then give them access to those resources, which is super dope. And so as soon as I found out that they were even doing this grant, and part of the component to the application was that you had to do a little video. And if you were selected to be in the top 50, you had to go pitch live in person, like Shark Tank style, to a room full of professional entrepreneurial judges. And I love what I do. And I for me, if you read about my company on paper, you're like, that sounds interesting. But I know that like me and why I love what I do and my excitement and my passion, my fire about it, that's what draws people in. They're like, I want to get on that train because I want some of that in my life. Like, I want to feel that way. So as soon as I applied for it, I was like, just get me in that room. Like, I need this application to be good enough to get me in that room and I will sell the crap out of this. Like I just really wanted to have a captive audience of like 10 people who were influential, who would hear about it. Like, even if I didn't win, like that's what I was excited about. It was to be able to tell all those 10 people that I have this company and this is what I do. And so I went and did the pitch competition. I ended up getting into the top 50. So I went to go pitch live, which was really exciting. And I ended up being in the top finalists and I won $25,000 and a year of curated mentorship, which allowed me to hire my first employee. And prior to that was just me all the time, just me working myself. And I had a couple of friends who would like come help me do craft shows and stuff like that because they just love my business. But it allowed me to actually like set up payroll and really have an employee who was with me all the time, even if it was like 20 hours a week or whatever. And that was like the springboard to where I'm at now, because since everything we do is handmade, I was really limited by the amount of time that I had personally to do anything. And I have 2 little kids. So, and I'm technically the work at home mom, like my office is in our house, but my husband is the breadwinner right now while I'm growing the company. So it's been crazy to be like, okay, I just won this thing and now I can have a helper so that I can work on my business because they're working in my business. So when people hire us to make stuff, I can say, you make that stuff. I'm going to go to this coaching group or whatever. And it's been really awesome.
That sounds amazing. And I love that they realize that sometimes it's not having like the $1 million. It would be nice, to have a huge chunk of money. But when you're a small business, the cents add up. So it was nice that you were able to, like you said, hire someone, because if you're working in your business and you're being the IT person of your business and the secretary, the administrative assistant, the salesperson, the everything, packaging, you get burnt out and you can't focus on the craft itself. So people don't realize, like, that's why I tell people, outsource, find a way. So even if it's just, like you said, for a few hours a week, to have somebody come in and do some of the things or the tasks that you don't really want to do, or things you don't have time to do, so that you can still keep moving your business. Because that's how a lot of people get stagnant, right? They just are like, oh, I can't do it all. Like I unplugged my printer. I said, you know what? I can't be IT today. Turning it on and turning it off wouldn't work. I said, I'm just going to turn it off and focus on that another day. I have to do business. And that's just what happens. You have all these hats, and it's nice that now you get to pass on a hat to someone else. And look, as your business grows, like you told me today, you're like, oh yeah, I just hired all these people. Like, yay. Because now you have more people to put a hat on and you can focus on being the boss, being the CEO of your amazing company. So for a new person, right? New person, I just decided I want to have a business, or I'm thinking of this great idea. What tip would you give someone for, starting a business? They don't have, they have a passion, right? That's all they have. So what could they do to get started and, start their business off on a good foot?
I would say that my number one tip of advice would be to seek out free business resources. First of all, there's tons of them. They're not super easy to find if you're not looking for them, but look for them because they are all over the place. Most communities have some kind of small business center that has resources and people who can help you figure out what paperwork you need to fill out and what forms you need to fill out to get registered in your state and things like that. So definitely look for those. We have some amazing ones here. And then I would say that if you're not entirely sure what you really want to do for your business, but you kind of have an idea, the thing that keeps you up at night, like the thing that you can't stop thinking about, like someday I'm going to do this, that's it. Like that's your thing. And, start small. I started my business when I was in college in the corner of my dorm room, and I made guest books and invitations for my friends who were getting married and having babies. And I did that, and it was I kept it real small. I kept it as a side gig for like 12 years. And I still had a full-time job, and I didn't have the guts to quit my full-time job until after I had kids. And I was kind of forced to, because my job wouldn't work with me to be able to work from home. And I wasn't making enough money there to pay for healthcare and daycare. I was like, I would just come home with no money and pay someone else to raise my kid and not be able to do what I love. That's stupid. So don't be so afraid to quit your day job also, but just start small. I mean, if you've got 5 hours a week, do it for 5 hours a week. Troll on Instagram, whatever your passion is, look for hashtag that thing and see what other people are doing. Follow those hashtags, like find 5 or 10 companies that are where you want to be and look at the kind of stuff that they're doing and what kind of things are they writing about. And then really do a lot of effort to think about who are you serving? Like what problem are you solving for people with your business? And who are the people who need that solving? Like, because if you don't know who you're trying to sell to, then you're just going to spin your wheels. So you definitely really want to work hard on figuring out like, how is the thing that you're putting out there going to help somebody? Because people like to buy things that solve a problem for them. And if you make it really evident to say, hey, you got this problem, I have a solution. They're like, great, that's awesome. I need that. You know, like that's, for me, that's the best type of marketing. You know, when somebody's like, I'll put a post out and I'll say like, not sure what to say when somebody dies and you feel bad. I got you. That's my
amazing. And that's, yeah, it's important to do your research, and that's what it really boils down to. Like, do your market research and know what people, like you said, what people want, what problem can you solve. And speaking of problems, I always ask people about their hurdles, even though so far it sounds like your business has been just amazing. Look, she got the grant. She was, making it in her dorm room, all these cool things. But of course, realistically, we know that, in business, there's always going to be hurdles. There are always going to be obstacles. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy job. If it was, everyone would be one. So what's a hurdle that you've gone through in business? And hopefully it's been a hurdle that's made you even stronger or smarter as a businesswoman.
There have been so many, so many. Because I came up with the idea of this company when I was like 19 years old and I'm 38. So like I've been doing this for a really long time. And I mean, right as I was coming up with the idea for having a business to make art in the first place, I hadn't even picked a name or anything. It was the junior year of college. And right in like 3 weeks into the beginning of the school year, my mom passed away on Friday the 13th. And then like 3 months later, my dorm burnt to the ground with all of my stuff in it on her birthday. And then they cut my financial aid for school because I couldn't put her on my FAFSA anymore to get financial aid. So all in the span of like 6 months, like I became an instantaneous adult and I just had so many things on my plate and I was still trying to go to school. My brother and I had inherited our house like 5 states away, like 1,000 miles away. And I was trying to figure out how to keep this house from falling down and still going to school and still figuring out what I wanted to do and deal with trauma and grief and having no stuff and like all of that. So I would say like, as far as the hurdles in starting a business, like that's where my business was born out of, was like using my business as a way to like deal with my trauma and process that. And that's kind of the core of my business is like, I know the power of art to like heal people, because it did it for me. So that's where I came up with the name of this business, like Papercraft Miracles. So starting out as that, like, yes, there's business hurdles, but after all of that, in the span of a couple of months, I was like, bring it on. Whatever happens,
That's amazing. That's a lot. that was a lot. I was like, wow, yeah, if you went through that, the sky is the limit. And I mean, wow. What can you say? That was a lot. I could not imagine having done all of that. I remember college. It was already a trying time anyway. And so to have all those other things added on, like go you, because you had to have had really thick skin. You had to have a very strong mindset because many people would have folded. They would have been done just in despair, unable to kind of get themselves out of it. And not saying you did it alone. Maybe you had some support, some people, that had your back, but still, that's a lot, especially at that age. Wow.
Yeah, 20 years old. I've never paid rent in my life because I inherited a house before I had to live anywhere I had to pay rent. So like I've been a homeowner. Like I was very much, I had to grow up really, really fast. And and also, you know, losing my mom so early in my life, it taught me, she was only 54 years old. So it taught me immediately that like life is super short, and I knew what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know, I'm not going to wait till someday to start doing this, because who knows if you're even going to have that someday, because you never know. So if you don't take the time in your life to do the things that really fire you up and that you're really passionate about and share those things with other people, like, when are you going to do them if you're not going to do them now? You know?
That's a word right there. Okay. I feel you. Like she said it. She said it. Don't wait. Do not wait. If you have a passion inside you, if you know you are put on this earth to do something amazing, do it. And you did just that. As I said, women are so powerful, man. That's just, it's so amazing that you have this amazing business that is continually growing. You know what I'm saying? Continually doing things. I looked at your bio and I was like, she worked with who? Let me look. Let me see. I got my little cheat sheet here. Was it Twitter that you worked with?
Yeah, we did a big job for Twitter. We made a whole bunch of customized flower bouquets for them to send to their VIP clients that I am not allowed to say who they went to, but people you have definitely heard of have my flowers.
Look, I didn't get one. Look, I'm not on the list.
You know, like hella famous people have our flowers. I was like, I can't believe so-and-so's getting my flowers. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy.
That is so cool. And you worked with Capital One. Look, they've gotten lots of my money before, so I'm glad you got some of theirs. But that's amazing.
Yeah, we made some special stuff for them. And like I've kind of randomly connected with like influencers on Instagram. So I've like sent some cool stuff to Nico Tortorella, like stars on TV on that show Younger. Sent some stuff to Nico and made some custom things for them. And you know,
you know, no, I don't know. This is not an everyday common thing.
You got to put it out there. I mean, you know, everybody talks about like, ooh, manifest. Like, no, you can do that. Like every single thing that has happened to me in my life, yes, I've had a lot of hardship. I've had a lot of trauma. I've had a lot of struggle, but I've also had like really amazing people and really amazing things show up like right when I need them. And I mean, we just landed this crazy huge job, like 7 times last year's revenue in one job. And like, I found out, they called me about this job on my mom's birthday, the same day that all my stuff burnt up in the fire 20 years ago. You know, it's like, it's stuff like that happens. You just got to look for it.
That's amazing.
You just got to look for it.
Look, what is for you will be for you. You had it, and that's amazing. Look, what you have said so much. You're such an inspiration. I do want to thank you just for being up here and being such a ball of positivity, because I didn't know that you had went through all this. I'm learning as people, as the audience will learn. I'm like, what? This happened? Wow. Look, I'm even more inspired by your story. That's just so cool. Everything you said. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to up my game. I need to reach out to some people and make some moves. So I do want to ask you before we go, because you've touched on a few things that you have, but please do tell us again what products you have. You know, of course, you make custom things. So of course, people can reach out to you to find out about custom orders, but what do people typically buy from you? And then how can people reach you if they wish to purchase anything?
Cool. So our website is really easy to find. It's just papercraftmiracles.com. I apologize for the vacuuming noise in the background, but that's such as the entrepreneur life, because our cleaner is cleaning the office right now. So yeah, papercraftmiracles.com is the website, and you can shop for pre-made products on there. We have hand-bound journals. We have paper flowers and paper potted plants. So if you want to decorate your office and never have to worry about watering that plant or having it die, we got you. We do that kind of stuff. And then we have some stationery if you want to write letters to your friends, which we hand make the paper one piece at a time in our solar powered studio. This whole building is solar powered, which is really cool. And then we have quite the wide selection of seed bombs of different shapes. That's kind of our niche, is that we make seed bombs in fun, funky, cute little shapes. So like we've got Easter egg ones for Easter, so you can put those in the Easter basket instead of like junk and candy and plastic toys. And it's like an experience where you can plant them with your kids, and then everybody can watch them grow together. We also, for the spring coming up, we have veggie garden sets where you can plant a whole vegetable garden with them. We've got different sets that grow herbs. We have a whole bunch that grow different kinds of flowers, but they're in like really cute little shapes. So we've got like little hearts, we got a Star Wars set, like stuff like that. So we just have a lot of really like fun, magical, unique things that are really meaningful to people, even the ones that are pre-made. And then we do all sorts of custom orders. We do some crazy wild things like, right, this job we're working on right now, we're making 500,000 seed bombs in the next month for a custom order.
Wow, somebody's gonna have a big old garden. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So, guys, definitely check her out at papercraftmiracles.com. Is that correct?
Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram at Papercraft Miracles. Same thing on Facebook. Pretty easy to find us. Go around. Google me.
Got you. Well, look, I'm gonna make it a little easier. I will definitely, if you're watching on YouTube, you will have the links in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, just check out the episode, and in the description of the episode, I will have her links there so that you can connect with her and her brand, because it is definitely sounding pretty amazing. And I always tell people, nowadays there's always someone who does something at least similar to what you do. Maybe not exactly. So what sets you apart? And it's your personality, it's your story. And I definitely connect with you. I love everything you've said. I love your vibe and the things that you stand for. Solar power, like what? Solar power building? Like you are talking the talk and walking the walk. So that's amazing. I just want to again thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. You have given us some gems tonight. So thank you. I'm just thinking like, I'm always thinking like, how can I do more with these people? Because when I like people, I want to just stay connected and stay engaged. But the first thing I'll do is like your social media so I can find out what you're doing. But again, thank you. And guys, if you like this podcast, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube page. Check out our podcast. We drop a new one every single Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, I rock, you rock, we all rock. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you again.